650. Shout out to all the fam at 95.7 Game for keeping me entertained all day long. Well, today it's about Brock Purdy because Chris Sims went in. I don't think he went in like.
He says 3 times he's really good, but I don't think he's as great as these other guys.
He said he took Jordan Love with him. He said this about Jordan Love.
And again, what I'm trying to say to you, like we showed a highlight package yesterday of Purdy on our PFT show. And the thing that I always come away with is go, look, there's no defenders in the screen in some of them. And we're going, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And I'm going, guys, it's not that amazing. Really, they were in a room all week and Shanahan said, hey, we're drawing up this play and it's going to screw them over and this guy's going to be so wide open, it's going to be a touchdown. And we have fans that are putting that stuff on a pedestal like, he's the only guy in football that could do that. He's the only guy that could listen to Shanahan say, throw to this guy, he'll be open, and he did it, right? And they have a lot of that in their offense. So that's where, again, this is a tough spot, right? But I'd fall into the comment again of with Jordan Love. If Jordan Love played in the Super Bowl, the 49ers would be the Super Bowl champions. That's what I would say.
Wow. I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far.
I would disagree with him, but that's fine. But again,
I'm not going that far. But
it's his opinion. It's our opinion to disagree,
right.
and people can feel. Here's what I don't understand: why are people so triggered by him?
I don't know. But the Brock Purdy conversation gets people triggered, just like the Jimmy Garoppolo. It feels like I'm running reruns here. Feels like I'm in a rerun.
Yeah, but
and we're talking about, and we all agree Brock Purdy's better than Jimmy.
Yes,
he's by far better than Jimmy.
Better.
He took this offense to a level that I didn't think a lot of people saw coming, right? 29 points a game, the way they look dynamic, the yards, touchdowns, everything, MVP, everything, all that stuff. But I remember people got triggered when I said we were talking about the divisional round quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I said, boy, build a team, I'd rather have Jordan Love than Brock Purdy.
And you did that before the game happened. Coming off the heels of the Cowboys Packer blowout.
And through 3 quarters, I was like, damn, Jordan Love does look like the better quarterback through 3 quarters. But that's the beauty of football. That's the beauty of sports. You got to finish. And Jordan Love didn't finish, and Brock Purdy did. Jordan Love threw, that last interception was reminiscent of Brett Favre in the Philadelphia Eagles wild card game when, remember, Donovan McNabb hit Freddie Mitchell, 4th and 26, throw it across your body, just throw it up a pop-up. What are you doing?
Remind me of the Viking loss when he did it against New Orleans, where Brett Favre was rolling out right, and he threw across his body. It was almost identical. Threw across his body, and boom, intercepted.
Throw an out route against the New York Giants in the NC title game for an interception, lost them, and the Giants ended up winning the Super Bowl. But look, man, Jordan Love has a ton of talent. And Jordan Love, what he did last season, we shouldn't slander him. He did it with the wide receiver group that was in and out the lineup and a lot of youngsters. But with that said, Brock Purdy is the better quarterback right now today. If you bet on the futures, I can understand why people will bet on Jordan Love's future. But Brock Purdy's fine. But when you see the money that Trevor Lawrence got paid, 5 years, $274 million, $200 million guaranteed, $55 million per year, $142 million signing bonus. You're telling me there's not a Niner fan out there who doesn't look at those numbers and say, damn, it's a lot of damn chicken. A lot of damn chicken. Are we sure Brock Purdy? Now, he is what he's worth. The quarterback market dictates whatever it is, and this is what it is. So, Jed York, I'm not going crazy over Jed York saying he's going to reset the quarterback market because he is. But I'm allowed and you're allowed, and I think you're allowed to be skeptical. $55 million per year, $200 million guaranteed on this football team. We think Christian McCaffrey is the most important player on offense. It's a lot of damn money, man. And now, are there alternatives? No. You have a good quarterback. He led you to a Super Bowl. He led you to an NFC title game. It's just, that's a lot of damn chicken, man, for a quarterback that I don't know can elevate the offense if he doesn't have a weapon or two around him. I don't know if he can elevate an offense yet. We saw a small sample size. Granted, it was his first full season, Chasky. But without Trent and without Debo, we saw 17, 17, 17. Those were the points scored. And we saw 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter against Minnesota. And we saw a couple of interceptions late in the game against Cincinnati.
And what did it look like with Debo not in the game for the Green Bay game? Because would he come out in the first quarter?
Yeah.
Or second quarter?
First quarter. I want to say first, maybe second.
Yeah.
Didn't look pretty. It did not look pretty.
Well, I do also believe that, fit matters, right? So I think a lot about, what would what would Steph Curry look like with Thibodeau? What would Steph Curry look like with, Musselman back in the day? It works perfectly with Steve Kerr. Now, I still think he'd be really good, right? What would Brady have looked like if I gave him, Joe Philbin? You know what I mean? Like early Brady. It wouldn't have looked as good. What would Elway have looked like if he had Walsh his entire career? Yeah. I think about those things. Mm-hmm. Now, luckily they don't. When I watch the two quarterbacks, because everyone's triggered with Love and Purdy, the one area of a Kyle Shanahan offense that I know is baked in is that I am never going to allow the quarterback, whether it's Jimmy, Mullins, Trey, or now Purdy, to make a bunch of audibles at the line and be pointing at who the Mike linebacker is, right? No,
it is crazy that Shanahan is in full control. And I can see it right now. Food 22, 52, hey, Bog, 52. That ain't happening.
It never happens. It never happens.
It's so right. That's crazy. And you see Mahomes, hey,
it's literally Fred. He's changing protections. He's moving people around. Now, I've seen Purdy a bunch of times tell a guy you're lined up wrong. Right? I've seen him do that a bunch of times. That's different from adjusting the protection in front of him, right? And he's made subtle adjustments. When I watched Jordan Love, at least in the couple of games at the end of this season against Dallas and the 49ers, he's allowed to do a little more at the line of scrimmage that Purdy's not allowed to do. So I think when we have these conversations about, they could do more with Jordan Love, I think the coach and the play caller allows for more creativity from the quarterback.
That's a good point.
And if there's one area where I think Shanahan doesn't get enough criticism is I don't think he gives Purdy enough wiggle room to make these changes at the line of scrimmage. And I think that's not a knock on Purdy. To me, that's
Shanahan being a control freak.
Yeah, that's one of the quirks of Shanahan that I want to see him kind of adjust a little.
Give his quarterbacks the full autonomy to call a player, change a player, check into something. Because remember, Shanahan mentioned something last year that Purdy checked into something, and Shanahan went crazy.
Well, the Ayuk play, the play that he threw to Ayuk against Seattle was the fourth option. And Shanahan, when the ball was being thrown,
went crazy.
He was ready to lose his mind. And then the results happened, and he was like, all right, well, he shouldn't have gone there. I didn't want him to go there. He went there and it worked out great. It was probably one of the best throws of the year.
Right. Thanksgiving night to seal the game. But boy.
But
he was irate over that. And he talks about that. And he's had rumblings about, he checked in his play and he got killed and he didn't have protection and that gave him an earful. So Shanahan's like that.
You and I have had this conversation about Josh Allen over and over. And I said about a year ago, I'm like, B, you're going to think I'm crazy. But I do believe that a Josh Allen would drive Shanahan crazy. Ball protection's one thing. Audibling out of plays willy-nilly and not hitting the right guy in the right spot, because there's times Big Ben did this, where he'd pump fake and extend the play when it didn't need to be extended.
Play street football.
Exactly. And I do think that the control aspect of Kyle Shanahan's team and his offense is very important to him. And you have to be a certain play type and certain personality type to be able to deal with him long term. Would he take a Josh Allen on the surface? Absolutely. But I do believe on Tuesday morning, Monday morning, when they're going over all the film and everything, I think it would drive him crazy.
Well, I think the reason why he drafted Trey Lance was because of the Monday Night Football game where Josh Allen lit up the 49ers with Glendale, Arizona. And remember the way Shanahan was just salivating over the way Josh Allen played that football game. He was like, boy, that's the future.
And
oh, my God, look at the throws.
5 wide, and he's changing
things. And he drafted Trey Lance. Also, to that point that you just made, it's why I was always skeptical about Brady coming here, because I'm saying to myself, was Shanahan going to give the offense up to Tom Brady? They would have butted heads the first day of training camp. Would Shanahan had been okay with that? Although Shanahan did, before last season, tell Brock Purdy, hey, I'm going to reach out to Tom Brady and see if he's going to play for us or whatnot. But I always was skeptical of that working because of the control aspect of the offense. If you audible this offense, and I want to get to the calls here because they lit up right now, and I want everybody to get in here about this conversation about Brock Purdy, because at some point over the next year, and I don't care if Brock Purdy has a slight regression, you're still going to be faced with paying him Nearly $200 million guaranteed, $55 million per year. Do we feel comfortable with that? I guess we don't need to. Do the 49ers feel comfortable with that? Does Shanahan feel comfortable with that?
Well, I want Shanahan, forget the money for a second. This year, I want Shanahan to feel more comfortable allowing Purdy to switch things up. The one element, if I were to rank him, I think he's top 5, and it's not a doubt in my mind. Pre-snap reading of a defense. I think he knows who to match up against. I think he understands coverages. I think he understands post-snap, what teams want to do. Very rarely is he caught off guard. I think his brain is top 5, and it's not a question.
All right, let's go to the Lions then. Oreo Cookie in Oakland. Oreo, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, you guys? Happy Friday. Happy Father's Day weekend.
Thank you.
Just talent can only take you so far. Ask your boy, Jabubu Russell. Shout out. It has to go from the shoulders up, man. Like you said, you got to be able to read the defense. And in the NFL, everything happens so fast. I think these experts don't want to give Purdy his props because of where he got drafted. None of these guys want to admit that they were wrong about Brock Purdy, where even Kyle was wrong about Brock Purdy. Lucky for us, he turned out pretty good. So having said that, man, you guys have a good weekend. I'd like to get flushed out for the weekend.
Oh, you want to get flushed? All right. He volunteered to get flushed. Sorry, your call's not good. I thought it was a good call, but I guess you need to contact Floyd Water Plumbing and Drain at floydwater.net. He called him Jabubu Russell. I haven't heard that one before.
I don't think that's Russell. An easy thing that people say. Right. Well, the experts are mad because he was. No one cares. No one cares. You know what the experts want to do? Rip. Period. Mac Jones was drafted 15th, 14th overall. We're ready to rip him in a heartbeat. Okay? In a heartbeat. I don't think ripping has anything to do with draft status whatsoever. I just think it's more societal.
How does Chris Sims benefit from ripping quarterbacks left and right when he was a former quarterback? He knows how hard the job is.
Absolutely.
He knows firsthand how tough it is. The guy, and this is another thing, people forget, it's one of the most brutal games I've ever seen. You know what? F you to John Gruden. I'll say that right now. I don't mean kids. I'm sorry.
Him back out there with the lacerated spleen?
Lacerated spleen out there playing the Carolina Panthers. And Chris Jenkins, I'll never forget him. He goes, yeah, we saw Chris Sims in that huddle. How the hell did he get through that football game?
400-pounder, 77. He was a beast.
His son's playing with the Cincinnati Bengals. Son just won a national championship. Yeah, he just won a national championship in Michigan.
Yeah.
His son's playing for the Cincinnati Bengals now, just drafted. Chris, I'll never forget they was replaying that game on NFL Network back in the day. Like, this guy played with a lacerated spleen, and Groot left his ass out there. You're a tough SOB to play against that defense, so I'm going to give Chris Sims all the respect in the world. He doesn't benefit for ripping Brock Purdy. Does he need content right now? Sure. But in terms of breaking down the film, the guy obsesses over it. He loves quarterbacks. He loves football. It's his opinion. You can disagree with it, but don't question his toughness. Oh, he sucked as a quarterback. May have not been good as a quarterback, but he was damn near tough. He was sure as hell tough against Carolina.